I'd like to jump into this and say something. I think it was, I quote him a lot, Dwight Eisenhower, former president of America. He says, a country that values privilege over purpose and virtue will lose both. And that's what we have become as a country. And that's why we are even having to debate all of this. See, let's call it clear and simple. What was done is tantamount to changing the goalpost in the middle of the game. There's something people used to play, and I'm sure Mr. Frank remember this, called monkey post. You know, back in the days where there's a small goalpost, and when you see that they are scoring you so much, you try to change the position of the goalpost, or you cover up the goalpost so that it's harder for them to score you. And that's exactly what is happening. The literal translation. Because as stipulated in the law, and by Inec, the process is to be for people to vote at the polling unit, and the results are transmitted at the polling unit. That was the fail-proof system. And that's why you see that even us lists, do you know that Inec's failure having because you see in other climes of the world, people want elections, and once the results are coming in through the portal, can upload real time. Certain TV channels had that in the Osho elections, but we do that because there was no data of the transparency in the system. So it has even hampered our work as journalists to be able to give people real-time data of what's happening, because we don't have a portal. And these were the concerns I remember definitely I raised, and I want to raise concerns further, and alluding to what Ayo said. Inec is on trial here. Inec, as at 15th of December 2022, claimed they spent 117 billion on technology alone. So close to half of their budgets of over 300 billion was spent on technology, 117 billion. If you're to divide that by the dollar rates today on the street market, it is $156 million. $156 million that was spent on technology alone. The question is, what is the quality of contractors they gave the job for? Number two, what was the quality of the peer review mechanism on the job? Who reviewed the technology? Who reviewed the back end? Who subjected it to a stress test? And Dr. Bati, we are getting home somewhere with what you said. If the telecoms company said there was no network glitch on that day, so it was not a case of a rowdy network. If Inec said that there was no cyber attack, then the last frontier will be something happened to the server. It is either the server was put off or the other things happened to the server we do not know. And that's why, to be able to analyze this effectively, he has to go back to a report on the server. And what is even the quality of server? And that's why we kept on asking questions from Inec. At a point, I remember last year, I asked an Inec official here, let's even see the APIs to the server. People like us that wanted to do back-end work, let's even see the APIs to the server that we can connect to, that once the reports come in, we can see it on our dashboard. They said nothing of such. Who are the contractors? Who did the back end? Because you see, there's a popular Jamaican movie, Third World Cup. I don't know if you've seen it. And I'll never forget the words of Ratty in Third World Cup that said, guns don't kill people, people kill people. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. Technology don't just act on its own. It is people that impute the back end of the technology itself. So what caused the downtime that Inec couldn't report as at that point in time when it happened? They had to leave it until when people started questioning the system. And the first answer they give, I keep referring to that thing, the first answer they gave was, oh, nobody promised. And please, people can go and fact check me. Look for the video recordings of what happened at the Inec Coalition Center, the first interview had when the first press briefing was given on that Saturday. What was said as, oh, there was no promise of transmitting the presidential election. Then all of a sudden, moments after, there was a talk of a system glitch. I keep referring back to the technological backend because in the grand analysis of things, the reason why we use technology is because there's record purposes. If it was before elections that we used to have in Nigeria, that we did everything on paper, by now people will have burnt the paper. So you will not even have the polling unit by polling units. The only hope and consolation Nigeria has is the fact that we have a backup online. And that has always been the problem. If you think I'm lying about this, try asking INEC the polling unit by polling unit result of the 2007 elections. I'm sure they can't give it to you. If you try asking them the polling unit by polling unit and results of the 2003 elections, I'm sure they don't have it. But the reason why a lot of people are confident in the system was because technology was put in place. And the most important part of the technology was the storage. Please, let's go back to the 2019 election. What was the major bone of contention? Wasn't it the case of server? Wasn't it the case of server? So it is this same server. And that's why everybody was excited. Even when some unscrupulous lawmakers tried to scuttle the process of electronic transmission, everybody was excited when the people's will happened. Because it was this same case of server that the Supreme Court just talked about. And the question is, there was no INEC server. So if the server in this case is not also qualitative, if we talked in 2019 about a case of server, and the server in this case has also been scuttled, then where is the hope?
Okay, there was an element, you know, that you referred to about the media.
Yes.
Just to make the point that, you know, our role in this entire process is just to report information as provided by official sources. You know that the National Broadcasting
the IREV is an official source, Dr. Abati.
The National, no, please, don't interrupt. The National Broadcasting Commission had issued a statement telling broadcasters to abide by the National Broadcasting Code, sections 5.3.3 from, you know, I think A to N, you know, or L, to say that, look, this is what the code says. These are certain things you cannot do. Yesterday, the National Broadcasting Commission issued another statement, dated February, or is it February 27?
Yeah.
I think it was so dated, reminding broadcasters also that, look, you cannot have your own results, you cannot announce results, you cannot project as regards who is likely to win and all of that. And the whole of that is to warn in the concluding paragraph that broadcasters, you know, should not engage in anything or promotion of any idea that may result in the breakdown of law and order. So while it is the responsibility of, you know, the media to report as it is, we do not have the responsibility to jump into the arena to create, you know, news or results that have not been provided. So it's important to offer that clarification regardless of our functions under Section 22 of the Constitution, and also without prejudice to our right under Section 39 of the Constitution. If any,
yes.
You have been an old-time
Please, can I be permitted to make a clarification on what I said?
Let me listen to you very well.
Let me make a clarification, Dr. Abati. I'm not sure you understand what I said. This is what I said.
Okay.
As regards election reportage, if the IREV works the way it should work, media houses can connect to the IREV and upload results real time. Dr. Abati, what I'm saying has been done in this country in Osun elections.
No, it's important.
No, I'm just trying to make my point. What I said has been done in this country in Osun elections. In Osun elections, even Yaga partnered with another media house, and there was a demonstrative board because the IREV was up and working. So as the polling units were coming in, results were being collated from the INEC as a source. and put on a board for people to be able to see. I'm not talking about projections. It is America, they do projections and exit polls. What I was just saying is that if their system truly worked the way it should work, there was no qualms about Media House connecting to the system and projecting the result as released from their own portal. That was all I was saying. I'm not saying we compromise on projecting.
That is the point. Yes. The media must not overreach itself, and journalists should not go beyond their brief.
Robert, you made
it's a professional point.
You made a point.
If any, you have been an old features writer, or you became a big man before my very eyes. Okay, over to you.
Now, Robert, I think the point you made is very straightforward. We have our limitations as journalists, as broadcasters, and the broadcasting code clearly states what you can do and what you cannot do. And as law-abiding professionals, we abide by those rules. You cannot go ahead and start announcing results that have not been authenticated by the or put forward by the electoral body, and we stick by that rules. I don't think it's a matter